Welcome all to our awesome anime podcast. I will be your host today, Gary. Welcome me.
Welcome me.
I am joined by our fun and Rui cast here, as always. Let's introduce them, shall we? Tim. Nunu. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Gago?
Yes, I love it.
Me too.
How's Nunu doing today?
The nooner. It's fine.
Nooner. I hear there's a little snowflakes falling down.
Yeah, little. Okay, whatever.
Well, they are small, but
Okay,
it's
okay.
the quantity that makes it seem
Okay,
more.
Gary. Too soon? Yeah, too soon.
How are the degrees? I hear you guys fell like below 40 degrees over there.
It's been a little while since then, but this week we went down to I think negative 15.
My God, how did you survive the negative 40?
Well, it's something called keeping your doors and windows closed.
Doesn't like the ice shatter the windows after?
I mean, if it's like the day after tomorrow.
That was not a fun movie.
Wasn't quite there yet.
No.
Plus,
well,
yeah.
Well, you've enjoyed this weather. A fellow by the name of Nightbringer, Klaus, welcome.
Well, hi. Or
You've
I mean,
been enjoying
hello.
This. Yes.
No, I have not been enjoying this weather. I've actually had to miss a day and a half of work because of it. Because we had not only did we get snow and very cold weather, we had blizzard conditions. They even had to call out the National Guard to try and rescue people who were stuck on the highways.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Jesus.
It was insane. So, but I still live here, and I still like it for some reason, for the most part.
Hey, once you get used to something, man, you're just like, oh, it's just another day in Minnesota.
We are a hardy and hale people.
Yeah. Good times. Good time. Well,
other than that, I am doing well. And while I've got the microphone, I want to pull a Ben, and I want to whore something out. Coming up at the end of March, for those of you who are in the Minnesota area, I will be attending Anime Detour, which is a 3-day convention in Minneapolis. It is going to be at the Hyatt Regency downtown, and I'm actually going to be hosting a panel about podcasting. So you guys should totally go there and cheer me on and say, "Oh my God, that's the Klaus! Holy shit, is he even better looking in person?" Just kidding. But
Okay, I would actually do that.
I know you'd be lying though. That's the problem. But that's going to be March 29th through the 31st. So if you guys are in the area, it's a lot of fun and
by the way,
lots of cool guests.
I'm still happy that FanFest last year. It was the first time it's ever happened to me. Someone came up to me while I was in the media area and asked for my autograph.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my God, you're chilling." I'm like, "Yeah." How did you? I'm scared.
Did you charge them for it?
No, why would I charge them for it?
Because that's what they do at conventions. They charge you like $120 for an autograph.
No, Gary, he paid them.
I would have paid them probably. I'm like, "You want my autograph? Here's £5."
Well,
That's awesome, man.
And they'll look at me confused at what £5 is because it was in America.
with Ben's case, we don't have to really worry about money because
Discord is
Because
sensitive.
why? Yeah, that.
What did you say, Tim?
I guess Discord doesn't want me to talk. That's cool. Whatever.
What were you saying?
Discord doesn't want him to mention my money.
It was regarding Klaus and how he's gonna whore off Ben. I don't need.
Yeah,
It's not funny anymore.
I blame Discord.
You killed it from disconnecting yourself all the time, dude.
I killed it.
It wasn't his fault.
But it's fun to blame him sometimes.
Timothy killed the Discord star.
Too soon.
And we also have Ben, as you've probably heard for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Ben,
I'm here.
how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I've
How has? Oh, go ahead.
I've just been enjoying the animes. I've enjoyed the anime of the week. It was really good,
Yes, I'm glad everybody enjoyed it.
and I can't wait to finally talk about Dragon Ball Super Broly the movie.
Yes, because you still need to talk about it and tell me how wrong I am.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
It doesn't take a Dragon Ball movie to prove that you're wrong.
It hurts my feel bads, man. But let's begin, shall we? Goblin Slayer. Oh, I should mention, we are not doing dailies this week because we have a lot to talk about with Brawly and
Goblin Slayer.
Goblin Slayer.
And
Yes.
it's mainly because Ben didn't watch the dailies this week.
Well, I only watched
the last 2 weeks, I suppose.
No, I watched 2 weeks ago. I just didn't watch last week's.
Oh, okay.
But alrighty. Goblin Slayer, that was my recommendation. I watched it a while ago. It was really good. It just actually finished yesterday or the week before. I don't remember now. Episode 12 was the last episode. 12-episode show. It is coming back. They told you that at the end credits.
Goblin Slayer will return.
Yes.
Also,
God, I love
remember that if you want to watch it with dubbed, you'll have to go to Funimation, and you can only watch the first 2 episodes free. The rest you need subscription, but if you want to watch subbed, you can get that with Crunchyroll.
Yes, you can. Thank you for that, man.
No problem.
Go
check out
Crunchyroll.com.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
I have my thoughts on it. Obviously, I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. I guess we'll just start with you guys then. Ben, start with you. Thoughts on Goblin Slayer?
My main thought was I really dig the art style. This is the type of art style I like. It was enough detail to be good. I really enjoyed. It was beautiful. The animations weren't the best, but it was, yeah. I don't know about you, Klaus, but the first episode, I know I'm bringing Final Fantasy up, but the first episode actually reminded me of Tamtara storyline in a way.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might as well jump into how the story starts. Yeah. Basically, it seems like the entire world is based off of a real life D&D where you get so many spells. You get levels. They don't call them levels, 1 through 10 or whatever, but they're assigned a rank based.
It's basically the level.
Yep.
Start porcelain and then you go up to what? Ruby? No, platinum.
Platinum is the top end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most adventurers out there, at least the most seasoned ones that most people are going to run into are silver rank, which is, I believe, 7th or something like that, or 8th.
Yeah. Which was the, if I'm right, the Goblin Slayer's silver, isn't he?
Yes.
But
as were a number of the...
it's also his own rank because he's known for only picking up quests that involve killing goblins.
Well, that's just kind of what he goes by as Goblin
fetish.
Slayer.
And that's the name of
don't
the
kink
anime.
shame him.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say it because if you notice, none of the characters actually have a name.
No.
They're all referred to by what they are or what they do.
Like the High Elf and the Sword Maiden and the Priestess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't.
Yeah,
none
true.
of them. The girl that he stays with at the farm, her name is just Cowgirl.
Yeah, Cowgirl, because she she was really good at looking after cows.
Yeah, none of the characters actually have a name in this show.
Yeah, there's Guild Girl as well.
Just honorifics and titles.
Yeah, which I should be podcast dude.
No, you'd just be horror. Come on, Chili.
That's not true because Goblin Slayer has a name.
Yeah, does he?
It's like Org Flag or something. I can't.
No, that's just another version of the title, just like Beard Cutter.
Oh, Beard Cutter.
Yeah,
that's what the elf calls him.
Yep, and then the dwarf calls him Beard Cutter, and then it takes the lizard man to actually end up calling them Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, I like the fact that he counts every time he kills goblins. I like that.
I'm trying to think. There's another show that does that as well. Wait, no, it's in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The battle with Gimli and
Gimli
Legolas.
and Legolas, yeah. But they do it just for fun.
Yeah. But it's just kind of silly that they do that.
It reminds me of like he's like getting like an XP chain bonus by killing as many goblins in a row. It's like trying to keep his chain.
Yep,
which
ends
up making sense when you get to the last episode.
Yeah.
When they had to count. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, you're going with the story.
Yeah, so basically it starts out, they explain what the guild hall is, and this girl comes in and she wants to register to be an adventurer, so she fills out all the requisite paperwork.
She's 15 now.
15 and an adult.
I'm an adult now.
So she wants to help out, be a cleric, a priest, to help cure other adventurers, and she's assigned her porcelain rank. And another group of 3 come up to her and say, "Hey, you should go join us. We're going to take this quest that needs to be taken care of right away because some goblins have kidnapped some girls from a local village and they need to be saved."
Yeah, which sounds like
everything.
a quest.
Yeah, everything starts off so innocent in this show.
Yeah,
and yeah, continue.
It doesn't stay that way very long. They get into the cave, and they end up getting ambushed from behind.
Yeah, which kills the first one, doesn't it? Well, she gets
the mage gets poisoned.
Yeah,
and then the fighter and the monk, I believe it's like a monk. They try and fight off the goblins as they come up, but the fighter has too long of a sword and it keeps hitting the roof of the cave, and he loses it, and then he gets chopped to pieces. The monk basically gets grabbed and smashed by a larger hobgoblin, and ends up getting ravaged and turned into their plaything, they call it.
Yeah. Which is kind of gross.
Yep. While the priest girl takes the mage and they try and get out of there, they end up then running into
the Goblin
Slayer, who basically goes through and kicks everybody's ass.
Well, no, first he asks if she's got any spells left.
Yeah.
And she's like,
well, she had tried to use one of her spells on the mage girl, but it didn't work.
No.
And she was like, "Why isn't this working?" We later learned that they use poison on their blades, so that the heal spell will not work.
Yeah. Which is why the Goblin Slayer has to finish her off, because otherwise she's going to... Even if she can be healed, she'll still be in a lot of pain.
Yep, so he ends up having to put her out of her misery, which gets the priest girl very, very sad. And she's like, "What the hell's going on? This isn't what I signed up for." And but she ends up going with the Goblin Slayer to try and save the rest of the party.
Yeah.
But we see the aftermath of what happens to the fighter, and basically a trail of them dragging the monk girl deeper into their lair.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of an interesting fight scene that ended up ensuing after that, with how he uses not only his weapons, but when they get too slick with blood, he will throw it off, and he will grab one of the goblin weapons and use it against them.
He sure does like throwing his weapons.
Yep, throws daggers, swords, clubs, dead goblins.
Yeah. If he can pick
everything,
it up, he'll throw it.
Anything to get the job done.
Yeah. He's very ruthless, but he's very efficient as well. He even ends up using a small decanter that he throws down an opening and waits for... How does it actually go about? They end up tripping over a tripwire that he placed, and he throws this bottle of liquid down there, and then throws his torch down there.
He got gasoline, didn't he?
Yeah.
He purchased some gasoline and threw that, and then set up all on fire.
And his one comment on it, this doesn't do as much damage as it should for what I paid for it.
Yeah. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and yeah, it's super brutal and super violent, and they do end up rescuing the monk girl, but she's not mentally in the same place, and obviously knowing what happened to her. But we also see that she the girl that he saves, the mage girl, she is essentially. She's so confused by everything that's happened because he goes in and he finds a whole bunch of goblin children. And he pretty much tells her we've got to kill them, all of them. And, she's like, oh, you can't kill kids and all that. And, again, it's one of those things where it all comes full circle. And we see at the end, in the final episode, why he kills the children, too. And it's just... You feel like this is, like, the most... He has like no remorse. He doesn't care, but you quickly start to realize why. And one of the things I really loved about this show is how all the things that he does is so unconventional. Like he uses defensive spells in an offensive way, which I thought was great. And it's a lot of these weird things that he does that really makes him stand out. Everybody knows him in town.
Well, it's like a little later on, spoilers really. The episode where they find out that I think they called it a swamp dragon or an alligator, where they realized that the goblins will go after people because of the light. So he has the priestess use a light spell on the dragon thing.
Yeah.
On the alligator tail.
Yeah, he had a gear. So.
But yeah, the one thing that I'm noticing, I'm kind of going back in the story again. The one thing that I notice is not only is he kind of have a singular focus as to what he does as a murderer, he also doesn't get very much respect for only going after goblins because everybody else in the Adventurers Guild thinks that goblins are beneath them. At least anybody with a rank higher than. What is the second one? Obsidian or whatever?
I'm not 100%.
I don't remember what the rank she ends up getting after that one battle, but basically anybody who's ranked up a little bit, they think goblins are beneath them. When we're seeing that actually they are very cunning. They are deadly in numbers, which there are a lot of goblins out there. And when we get to the end of the show, we see that they are very dangerous as well.
Yes, very, very dangerous. And a lot more intelligent than people give them credit for, especially if there's somebody leading them. But what did you guys think of the party that he starts to form? We know that there's, I believe it was a demon lord that rose up, and they ask him for help, but he doesn't care on us, and it involves goblins. So there's this like story happening in the background about this demon lord, and there's this big war, but he obviously doesn't care. His only focus is goblin. But these group of adventurers come and ask him for his aid because they have a big goblin problem. What did you guys think of the secondary cast members?
The ranks are porcelain, obsidian, steel, sapphire, emerald, ruby, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. So silver is rank 3.
Thank you, Ben.
No worries. I checked the Goblin Slayer fandom.com.
Yay!
Yay!
Hooray for the internet.
Since you're on it, then Ben, what did you think of his merry band of adventurers?
I actually really enjoyed a lot of them. I like the lizard man. He was pretty cool. With his
kind of like a necromancer type character.
With his dragon skull. Yeah, the skeleton summons.
Mm-hmm. Who's never had cheese before, which is awesome.
Or ice cream.
Yeah, none of them had ice cream really, until they met that person at the town. The priestess was like, "What's that over there?" And he's like, "There's so many kids over there. It must be sweet." He's like, oh,
It must be chilly.
aw.
Must be chilly.
The high elf, the dwarf, I thought was really. I wasn't a huge fan of the dwarf just because he was very stereotypical dwarf, with always wanting food.
But what made him different was he wasn't, like this tanky character. He was a magic user.
There was a mage, which was quite cool.
Yeah, you never really see dwarves as mages in anything, which I thought was pretty cool.
And I liked his slingshots; they were cool. Well, he's like,
And notice he was always the one saving the other two when they got in trouble too.
he really was
During a lot of the fights. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the high elf. Like that, I just would constantly think of like Arrogant. Was it Arrogant? Legolas.
Yeah.
She was good. But yeah. High Priestess though was probably the best character. I don't know if she was the main. Was she a main character or was she a side character? Really?
She was the one. Oh, the high priestess. You're talking about the one in Watertown?
No, I'm talking about the actual one from the start. Yeah, the young princess that joined the group.
Oh, just the priest girl.
Yeah, technically she's the main character, but I feel like the Goblin Slayer is the main character. She might have started off as the main character in the first episode.
Yeah, because it shows off a lot of his and what he does in his downtime.
Yeah.
I would call them co-protagonists in a way. Yeah. Well, or maybe it uses her to introduce the Goblin Slayer as the main character. I don't know. So she would be kind of the sidekick.
Yeah.
In that case.
Yeah.
Even though she does do some pretty cool things.
I said I liked her growth. She really did grow as a character through the series.
She really did, and we clearly saw it at the last episode where when they're fighting the Goblin Lord, I believe it was called, and how much she grew when he begged for his life, and she's like, we'll talk about the last episode a little later. Tim, you've been quiet. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, outside of like of new stuff, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I was into it like from start to finish. I binged the shit out of it when I started.
Well, it's not about saying anything new. It's about your thoughts on it and what you like, didn't like. It can be the same stuff.
Well, I'm not really a fan of redundancy.
I am.
Okay.
I thought that was rotundancy.
And he cannot lie.
I wish I had that power.
That was a nice setup and
set him up and knock him down.
I think like the only real addition I can make is that the real strength of his character is bolstered by his cast. Like the cast is the whole grouping is just a really good group. Like no one outshines any other. That's really nice. It gives a nice balance. You don't like get a lot of backstory too much, just kind of like, premises and builds up, but like that's kind of not the point. Like everything is kind of just based in the now with a little bit of referencing, which is nice because it doesn't get too convoluted in subtext. Like sometimes with the farm girl, cowgirl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like one of the weaknesses actually. Like with the way that it formulates all these things, putting all of this romanticism behind him and the cowgirl and his family back there kind of takes away from the energy that's going on in the now. And I mean, it's fine, but like it's not this. The premise of this is not, and the focus of it is not really on that. So it just seems like, I don't know. It seems like staggering moments. I mean, it's fine, to give characters context and subtext and things, but
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that, Tim.
I just don't feel it.
I mean, I understand, but I guess I like the fact of showing at the beginning I'm gonna say that it was slow for me to take off for me, the first couple of episodes, because there was a lot of missing context. You didn't understand why he was doing these things. He felt like a very flat character who was just like, goblins, kill goblins, brah.
Must stop goblins.
But once we started to get some of that, the context about the story, about him, about why he's driven this way, it actually rounded his character out, and it made me really enjoy what was actually happening with everything. And I liked the little vignettes that we got back at the farm with Cowgirl, with the uncle, and all of that, because of how he, a lot of the flashbacks that we get point to, it didn't make sense at first, but then we realize, spoilers here, that Cowgirl is the girl that went to town to her uncle's to help with the farm, and that's where they're at right now. And fact
because they left, they got to survive.
Yep. Whereas him and his big sister, who was raising him, their village was attacked by goblins, and nobody came to help them, and he was basically the sole survivor of that village, which is why he has this focus on killing all goblins.
I'll be honest though, as much as I love the backstory, I was kind of hoping before we found that out that you remember he mentioned during when they killed the goblins that there's no really you wish he could meet a good goblin or whatever.
Yeah.
I wish the twist would have been that he's half goblin.
I actually thought that too when that moment happened. I thought maybe he's a goblin underneath.
Yeah.
That's just kind of deformed or something. Yeah. Or an offspring of a goblin that, Yeah. I was there too with you. I instantly thought that right away. That's why he never takes off his helmet. Yeah. We never see his face in the entire show. And
you do.
There's probably at the end.
You get to see bits of his body and from the nose down on a couple occasions, but beyond that, like I said, he is fully
like when he had
covered.
to sleep with the virgins.
But before that, that's what I assumed. Like that's why he never takes off.
When it first when he said that, and I thought, is he going to be a goblin in Goblin Court? Yeah, he's actually realised how bad goblins are, has now become a slayer of goblins.
Well, who knows? They may riff on that in the second season. Yeah. Maybe they're listening as they're writing this, and they're going to. And
interestingly, the anime goes pretty hand in hand with the manga. Tim, you've been reading the manga as well, and you said it's pretty much shot for shot exactly how it is in the manga. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's just in kind of like order is a little different, especially in the middle. Certain events are changed, but the events themselves are the same.
Nice.
But like, what's kind of nice about the manga is that my issue is not with the backstory, but the pacing of it. And you have this very small section dedicated to the story with his childhood with his sister, and then you have this massive amount for the cowgirl and that life. Whereas I get more potency from the situation that happened with his sister, because that's the direct source of his hatred for goblins. And that gets like 5, 10, 15 minutes of screen time. Whereas this other part...
Tim, you give me more potency.
Like a ton. And it's not the fact that there is this... It's not the context that's the problem. It's the time given to it. Like there's... This anime is subtle in a lot of things, except for that. And it doesn't need a lot with the way that it delivers things to give it weight. And when it's just constantly pushing and pushing and pushing on this minuscule point, it starts to take away from it. And that's where I'm trying to say it's not the fact that it's wasted like entirely, because that adds to his character. It's just there's so much focused on this like easy time with him and the cowgirl, and not on other things that are going on like in the now, or even more about the sister, or more about anything else. It's just watching cowgirl have a good life, where there's really no attachment to her. It's just her. She is an association of his, and she ends up kind of feeling like a cliche because of it. And with all that time put into it, it just degrades her quality of character because she's just like, oh, look, she's just sitting here waiting. Oh, look, she's just sitting here, making breakfast. Oh, here, she's just here doing this. And it really puts her into hard tropes and is disingenuous to the intentions of her character.
Mm.
So if they had just, like, made it more brief or put it in, like, flashes or something, like in a same type of time frame and delivery style that they did with his sister's story, it would have felt a little bit more intimate and probably a little bit more potent. It's not so drawn out.
I'm wondering if a lot of the reason they did that was for the fact that this actually was in today, and his driving factor was not only just to kill all the goblins, but to make sure that she never had to experience what he had to go through.
Sure. But where's our attachment with her? Like, it's fine. You get to see somebody that is having a decent life, but we don't know anything of her circumstances except for her sitting at home waiting for Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, I guess the only other bit behind that I really didn't understand was the fact that why did the uncle charge him so much rent?
Oh, what the hell is his name? You know that situation? If you're familiar with Les Miserables, Gary.
Yes.
You have that caregiver who's housing somebody, and instead of with having their best interests in mind, they just go, well, they're living under my roof, so I'll just maximize my profits. And I can't think of the guy's name.
Give me all the money.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but he also does a lot of work for him as well. He helps with the bringing products to town, and so I mean, there's a lot of other things that he does, but he also gives a big bag of money whenever he can.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things where, like, he doesn't care about any of it. Like, he doesn't care about the money. All he cares about is getting his armor fixed if it's damaged, sharpening his sword, and making sure that goblins don't come to the farm. He checks the farm for hours every day, making sure everything is there. Like, nothing really matters to him except protecting the one thing that he still has that he had as a child, which was his best friend, the cowgirl, and her dad. That's the only two things remaining from his childhood, and he wants to make sure, like you said, that what happened to him and his family doesn't happen to them.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, another thing I thoroughly enjoyed here is you touched on it with the characters, where everybody kind of has their role to play. But I love the fact that nobody in the show felt like they were more powerful or better than anybody else. No, and especially the Goblin Slayer. And we know his expertise with goblins, so he's really good at killing them. But then we also saw his complete inexperience dealing with anything else. When they first encountered the ogre, I believe it was, in the caves in Watertown. Or was it before that? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was
when he used the waters.
Yeah, that was underneath Watertown.
Okay, yeah, and he had no idea how to fight that thing because he doesn't know what it is. He pretty much never seen it.
Yeah, he didn't know ogres have regenerative capabilities and things like that. So,
and so he had to use the spell or the scroll that he'd been saving for so long, to kill this thing. And it's again one of those things where he used a skill or an ability that wasn't meant to be used that way. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. And he did it all just to save everybody. And it's one of the most priceless things you can get, I believe, is the scrolls. They're one of the most rarest items in that world.
Yeah, scrolls, like in D&D, basically it takes a spell and it allows anybody to cast that particular spell. No magical aptitude required. And the spell that was on there was a very basic teleport spell, but he had the spell bound to a location at the bottom of the ocean. So when he opened up the scroll and used it, it teleported high pressure water into where he was, and he basically used those jets of water to slice the ogre in multiple little pieces.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment, and you see that throughout the show, where he realizes like they're surrounded and they have to come up with a plan right away. Where the goblin set a trap for them.
How about the bag of flour trick that he used?
Yes.
He ends up getting his bag of flour because he wanted to. He knew that in Watertown the flour there was more coarse than in most other areas, and they used that to make really tasty fish and chips. Right, Ben?
Yep.
So he sent a letter back to the guild from the village that they're from, and he had the sorcerer lady asked her to bring back a bag of flour. Well, not only did she come, but so did the spear wielding guy. Basically, I'm gonna call him a dragoon just because of Final Fantasy. But
it reminded me of dragoon or a lancer.
Yeah, I was so hoping that he would have ended up actually doing a jump, a la Kane or something like that. I was waiting for that, and I was very disappointed when he didn't. But that notwithstanding, he ends up bringing the flour for them, and he's like, we're not just your errand boys. We're not here for fetch quests. Sorry, I used the terrible F word there, Ben.
Fetch quests.
But so then he brings that down to the dungeon with them, and then they end up encountering a beholder. At least what I call a beholder. It's what they call it in Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, in Dungeons and Dragons. But basically, it's like a floating evil eye that has disintegrate and dispel abilities.
Yeah.
And the fact that he used this bag of flour to cause an explosion was genius.
With the arrow as well. I found that funny, by the way. They're like, what if it didn't work? It's like, well, we'll just do it again.
So we'll just have to keep pinging it with an arrow, every little bit, and whittle it down. And she's like, the elf is all like, so it sounds like I'm gonna be doing a lot of work with this, then, aren't I? Yeah. But no, it ended up using the evil eyes spell against it when it cast disintegrate at the bone warrior that the lizard man creates. It ends up making the flour basically cause an explosion. If you've ever been at a farm, you know that very fine particulates in a very enclosed space will explode if a source of ignition is in the area. And a lot of elevators in rural areas have exploded because of that. So the fact that they use science in that way was pretty damn cool.
And we also learned from the ice cream guy how he learns these weird facts as well. When he asks him about how it's done. Via science!
In fantasy land. Good stuff.
Yeah, basically alcohol plus ice makes it really, really, really cold, and then frozen milk.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments in the show as well came when we all thought they were screwed, where they were pretty much in that tomb that they set a trap for them, and that hobgoblin comes in.
Oh yeah, where they used the cement.
Was it a cement?
With the poison gas?
Yeah. And they're pretty much trapped, and she has the barrier up so they can't get in, and the elf is shooting them with the arrows, getting as many as possible. But we saw he just gets destroyed in one hit from this hobgoblin. Yeah. And he's down and out for the count. And
he was actually a goblin champion.
Yeah, goblin champion.
Goblin champion.
No, but to stop the poison, and it killed a few of the goblins as well. They used a form of cement, and the dwarf actually cast a spell to speed up the
curing process.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, a case of using spells for something that they're not necessarily intended for, but
Yeah, but I particularly like this moment because they were in a way so heavily reliant on him to get them through a lot of these situations, and then he gets taken out, and it's now up to them. And we see that the girl, the spellcaster, she starts freaking out, and by freaking out, the spells, the shield that she's created is starting to give way, and at a moment she pretty much pees her pants. because she's so terrified. They're pretty much surrounded, and they're trying to fight off as much as they can. And we kind of see him finally come to, and we saw that big red glowing eye on him. And I thought it was really cool because I instantly, my mind just went to, oh shit, he just went berserker mode.
Yeah, I love the Sharingan.
And
No,
in a
it's
way,
the inner beast.
in a way, he kind of did, because clearly he's in a lot of pain. His armor is completely messed up, but he just goes to town. And obviously, he's not able to kill the Goblin champion, but he's able to severely wound it
Takes out
for
his
him to
eyeball.
retreat. Yeah, and all the goblins retreat. Essentially, he saves the day, but he is just damaged.
Then he has to
super
sleep
damaged.
with virgins.
I guess so.
Yeah, they make it seem like, when the next episode starts up and you see him in the bed, they say they cast a spell of resurrection on him. So did he die?
I don't know if he.
I don't think so.
Or was he like at the brink of death?
I think it was
maybe.
more like he was at a brink.
I think there is an unconsciousness. Like in Final Fantasy, we use revive spells, but they're not dead. They're just unconscious. I feel like that's the same, reasoning. He got knocked out.
So he hit 0 hit points, basically.
Yeah.
to hit the parlance of D&D.
Yeah.
And if we were knocked out, they were at 0. A lot of times, I think in D&D, they didn't actually die until you hit like -10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like a bleed out if you didn't stabilize. But
I feel like
it was
when it
something like
comes to
that.
resurrection, that's what it means. Not that he actually died, just that it reaches his 0 hit points.
very possible.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed that moment in the episode. Really. But it's a lot of stuff in this show that I hope going further into the season they kind of explore a lot more things, because the tablet that they find, I think it was a tablet, or was it like a giant mirror or something?
Oh,
The giant mirror?
Yeah, mirror.
Yeah, like it obviously holds some sort of significance in the world, but we don't really learn much about it in this episode. And I hope they kind of start exploring a lot of these other things that go on in this world. Like,
And
it's
really,
cool to have like this massive world, right?
Yeah.
With all these different things happening, but you're only getting the point of view of one simple guy with a simple goal, instead of worrying about, the big overall picture of everything else going on around.
Yeah, we get glimpses that the hero has dispatched the demon lord. But, the fact that the goblins are still out there is what's actually affecting what we're seeing here. So, and
I think it's a really well done way of telling a story. Like, I don't like they don't make you care too much about anything else outside of his world and his story, even though there's all this other crazy shit going on. It's almost like kind of like real life to us. It's like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the real world, and there's a bigger picture, but we're kind of focused on getting to work in the snowstorm.
By the
More
way,
than anything
I hope we don't actually meet the hero.
She came to town.
Did she?
she was on,
No,
it
in the
sounded like she
last
was on her
episode,
way
she
to
came
town.
to
I didn't see the
I
last
thought
one.
you
yet,
arrived
remember?
it. Oh, so we can't even talk about the last episode, Ben?
Oh, you can talk about it. I've read the description of it, so.
Okay. Should we talk about the last few episodes then?
Sure.
So yeah, after all this time, he finally finds goblin tracks at the farm. And literally, the moment the episode starts, it's not the last, it's the second to last episode.
It's 11 and 12.
Yeah, literally the first scene is Cowgirl is making breakfast, and he comes in and he just tells her to. And you're like, oh shit, what's going on? And then he starts explaining what's going on, and he refuses because she knows he's gonna stay behind to fight the goblin, because that's what he does. So she refuses to leave, and really he knows he can't win this fight, and he admits that. He knows that he can kill as many goblins as possible in closed areas like caves and stuff. But in a wide open area, he knows he can't do it. And he knows there's a lot of them. There's over 100 of them being led by a Goblin Lord, which I guess is the highest rank of a Goblin that you can find. And he pretty much surmises that their plan is to take over the farm so that from the farm location, they can launch an offensive to attack the city and the town that they're in, or that they live nearby. So he goes to the Adventurers Guild, and he pretty much begs anybody that's in the Adventurers Guild to help him defeat the goblins. And they're kind of just like, oh, you know, his thing. Goblins, like, throughout the entire show, people kept saying are just these low-level monsters. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, it's all below them, like, you know.
Yeah, like, this is him. Let him deal with it. It's a silver rank thing. Let him deal with it. And then one of the characters that we see throughout the show, who is, I believe he uses a spear, and this other mage girl who gave him the water scroll first, he pretty much says he'll do it, but he wants to get paid for it. And Goblin Slayer says he'll give everything he has, every piece of armor, all his money, any valuable possession, including his life, for people to help. And essentially, this guy agrees, and then the mage girl as well. But then the Adventurer Guild, the Adventurer Guild girl runs in and says that they will offer 1 gold piece, which is a lot of freaking money in this world, for every goblin that is killed. To anybody. So if you kill 10 goblins, you get 10 gold. So because of this incentive now, everybody decides that they're going, because, damn, a lot of gold money. So yeah, in these 2 episodes, you know, they set up a trap. Goblin Slayer, obviously, the expert, knows exactly the tactics the goblins are going to use. They're going to use human shields. They're going to use riders where they ride. I don't remember. Are they riding wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to use riders to flank you. He pretty much knew all the tactics that they were going to use, and he planned against all of them. And he did it in a way where he saved the human hostages they were using, which was awesome, with the spellcasters, putting the goblins to sleep and rescuing all the people. And it was just this huge, massive battle, which was really cool to watch. And see his tactics go into effect. And just to get your guys' thoughts, at least on episode 11, what did you guys think of some of these other characters that we've seen in the show? They're not really prominent characters, but we finally see like their expertise and how they fight. And
I think the biggest bit for me on this is the fact that, you know, when he first tries to, you know, enlist their help, they're all reluctant because they think it's all below them, or they're not going to get paid for it. And you end up seeing that moment where everything turns around. The group that he had been working with, the elf, the dwarf, and the lizard man, she wanted to jump in right away and be like, you know, and say, you guys are stupid, we need to help him. But, you know, the dwarf actually held him back, or held her back, and was like, no, let this play out. And I think he was smart in waiting, because then we got to see the true nature of the adventurers down there. I mean, granted, not all of them were ready to jump in until the gold reward was put in there, but a few of them were like, yeah, I'll help you out, just buy me a drink.
Yeah.
So a few of them, you know, were actually good people with good hearts, and the fact that what he had been doing had been not only impacting, you know, the people around him, but also these other adventurers, and they were starting to see, you know, he might be a little bit of an odd duck, but you know what? He's a really good guy, and he's working really hard to do something that nobody else wants to do. So, but
yeah.
Actually getting into the fight then, like you had asked, I thought that seeing the different fighting styles was very interesting, utilizing the strengths of each of the adventurers, like the mages for basically ambushing and stopping being able to save the hostages, using ranged attacks, using ambushes and fighters, the pikes for the riders. Yeah, I mean, it was very well done. And I guess I thought it was a lot of fun to see the plan go into fruition. But one thing that I don't know if you noticed, but there was a missing character there for a little while. We did not actually see Goblin Slayer for most of that.
Yes, and we find out later why. There was that moment when they thought they were doing so good, they started chasing the goblins into the forest, which ended up being a very bad idea because there was, I believe, 4 or 5 goblin champions there. And that started to scare a lot of the adventurers, but obviously not the platinum adventurers.
The silver ones.
What do you mean?
There were no platinums in that group. They were the highest ranks. Like I said, they were all silvers.
Oh yeah, that chased them into the forest. It's when the champions came out of the forest where the platinum adventurers were like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be fun." This is what they excel at, is fighting these bigger foes. Which was the lancer, and I think there's a paladin as well. She had the big shield, and her companion, and the witch as well, who pretty much the lancer guy and the witch, they're kind of like in a party. And he pretty much tells her that he can handle the fight against the champion by himself. So she kind of just leaves, and she asks for water, which I thought was pretty funny. She's like, "Can I have some water?" He's like, "Okay." Some dude just runs off to get her water. But yeah, the champions, we saw how brutal they were when Goblin Slayer and his companions fought them, and then you see these guys fighting them, and you're like, "Well, shit, these things are kind of easy compared to what we saw before," and it kind of comes down to their abilities. This is why they're platinum adventurers. But yeah, as far as Goblin Slayer goes, we see that Goblin Slayer pretty much, he went off to confront the Goblin Lord, which again was a really cool moment when you see him coming out of the forest and he's got the big glowing red eye again and berserk. But yeah, I found this moment in particular very interesting because he went into the fight knowing he couldn't win the fight. And it's the strategy he came up with to defeat the Goblin Lord, knowing he wasn't going to lose. And again, it comes into the fact that he's so knowledgeable of everything that comes to goblins. He knows his own ability, and he knows like what it's going to take to win because he knows he can't do it. What were your guys' thoughts? Because the plan he came up with was really cool, but it messed him up a lot. Yeah.
Well, the fact that he ended up using the protection spell to basically sandwich the Goblin Lord in between 2 protect spells.
Yeah, again, using defensive spells for offensive ability. It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and for those who might not be familiar with what actually is going on with this protection spell, it basically creates a barrier wall that enemies cannot go through, but friendly party members can shoot things through it as well as go through it. Either way, so it's not like it creates an impenetrable wall for everybody. It just creates an area that the enemies cannot get through. And he ends up using that to his advantage fully.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see the moment, like, right as he's about to get really messed up, where he breaks his sword into the goblin's chest, but obviously it's not going to kill it. And then the goblin's just, like, stomping on his head and all that. Damn, he's going to die. And then that's when the spell kicks in, and then it kicks in from the back, and yeah, he's just like sandwiched, and the sword is the broken off blade is going deeper into his body. And the moment that struck out the most during this whole scene is when the Goblin Lord starts begging for mercy from the mage girl, and we get, I guess, a kind of a flashback of both what the Goblin Lord did and what he told her about what goblins do in a way. And we see that in the past, this Goblin Lord, he was a baby. Somebody spared him, and after they turned around, he grabbed a club and bashed their head in as a child. And it goes all the way back around to saying what he said to her is like, they're going to grow up and they're going to take revenge, and you have to kill all of them no matter what. And he's begging for mercy there, and she's just standing there with like this dead look on her eye. I don't believe a word you're saying. I thought it was a really good moment because it just circles back to the very first episode, and everything that he said is pretty much truth. Like, you can't have mercy on them, even though it looks like you probably should, because they will grow up and will take revenge or even worse. And we also kind of got an idea of where goblins come from too, because he said he's going to go back to his cave, the Goblin Lord, and pretty much reproduce with the women that they've captured. So pretty much goblins are half-breeds, from the way I understood it. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, please.
It seems like that might be the case.
Yeah, which is messed up.
A little bit skeezy.
Pretty much there's no female goblins. Goblins are only male. I guess it just goes to their whole, system or something. This is how they reproduce. But yeah, no, he has a broken arm, face is all jacked up from the helmet, from the dude stepping on his head. But yeah, they are victorious. And the Goblin Lord obviously didn't expect the strategy that they put in place. But yeah, no, they're victorious. They go back to celebrate. Everybody gets a whole bunch of money. Some people complain because they think they should get more because they killed the champion instead of a regular goblin. And they're like, a goblin's a goblin. Too bad. You knew the rules.
No, they only got 1 gold for killing the Goblin Lord.
Yeah, and they pointed that out. He killed the Goblin Lord, and he got 1 coin too. So a lot of the veteran adventurers, the platinum ones, are kind of pissed about it because they thought they should have gotten more. But yeah, they're just celebrating, and he pretty much asked her what she wanted, the little mage girl, because he offered something for everybody that helped him, like anything like of his own. And instead of asking for anything valuable, she just asked him to take off his mask so she can see his face. And he did. And that's the first time anybody in the guild hall or in the Adventurers Guild saw his face for the first time. We didn't get to see his face.
Well, technically no, because he actually did go into the guild hall once without his armor on,
and nobody recognized him.
Yeah, the Lancer guy didn't recognize him, and he's like, I recognize that guy. I think I've seen him before.
But he kept, he's super drunk too. Yeah.
And the greatest part about that whole bit is nobody's going to remember it because they were all drunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that in the background. It's like, we just got a whole new keg. Just deliver it to us. They're like, yeah, more alcohol. But yeah, no, the last 2 episodes I thought were really cool. And it kind of went around full circle, and everything that they had been talking about, everything they've been showing in the show, it all kind of came together here. And it showed that goblins are not just below anybody, because clearly they can be very, very dangerous. Really enjoyed it. Ben, Tim, you guys have been kind of quiet for a little while. Want to chime in for about the end of the show?
I mean, I think the part that I like the most about his is that instead, he knew that he was basically bringing people into dangerous. That, and I kind of gives me a profound respect for him, because he put himself in that bait role instead of trying to put someone else in so he could rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
He put himself in that bait role, and I think that was smart. very smart. Just because it's that that grand figure. Basically, he's a platinum, so you got to do something insane to throw him off guard.
Yeah, and he could have easily asked one of the Platinum Adventurers to kill the Goblin Lord. They probably would have had a much easier time than he did. Yeah,
but remember, actually, there are no Platinum Adventurers in this area. There's only like total of 3 Platinum Adventurers total, and the hero was the third one that had ever been created.
Yeah, there's not many.
They're all
Platinum
just silver.
heroes. Yeah.
That's true.
But a Goblin Lord, like they said, is equivalent to a Platinum Adventurer. So,
yeah. I guess it's the equivalent. Yeah, as you said, it's a Goblin equivalent of a Platinum.
Mm-hmm. And I like a lot of the parallels that they do between goblins and the like the clansmen, Jesus.
Oh God.
Jesus, the group, like just the.
It's in Hellsing abridged.
Good reference. Oh my God, I've lost my thought now. Shit.
Way to go,
Comparisons.
Kelly.
I like the comparisons they make between like the ranks of goblins and then the ranks of guild. Oh my God.
Adventurers.
Yeah, the adventurers group. Like
Warriors of
you
Light.
get parallels. You get parallels in both ends, and just because of it, like how
phrasing.
What's his name? How
Yeah.
Goblin Slayer is so vicious to goblins. He calls himself a goblin to goblins, and it's not like necessarily that it starts to humanize the goblins necessarily, which is kind of it's you still have the perspective of your characters, but it also gives the world something more substantial, more substantiality instead of it just being, whoa, we're out killing weird, nasty, bad bastards. It's like they are surviving, they're doing this, we're doing this to them. It's very real, and it doesn't denote the fact that what the goblins are doing are bad, because it clearly is, but it treats them as an entity that is driven by itself and its own wants.
They've got their own.
Being a thing waiting there to be killed.
They're not just bad guys because they're bad, but they're bad. They're bad guys to us, but to them, we're the bad guys in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
They actually have their, their own side of the story.
Yeah, it's good minimal world building, and yeah. I love this. I love this anime for that, because it creates so much context with very, very little.
Yeah.
Such smart writing, such smart creating, and such intelligent presentation.
Yeah. Interestingly, I was looking up, and the manga, the last volume, actually only came out last October.
Oh, well.
2018. So
it's
very fresh, very new. So
the original creator of One Punch Man is starting to do new stuff again.
Gimme. What is it?
Because I don't know if you know this, but it's actually One Punch Man is a manga, but the manga is actually also based on a webcomic.
Yeah, have you seen his old stuff? It's awful.
Yeah.
Like he drew his own stuff, and the art style is just nasty.
Yeah.
But it has so much heart and integrity into what he's trying to do that other groups have come in and finished them for him.
Yeah.
So, like, not finished, because he finishes an idea with what he's doing, but somebody comes in and fully realizes it with good visuals.
Yeah,
and,
they basically he's great at like setting the plot and the framing, but someone else comes in and like does the rest of it. Yeah, storyboarding. Anyway, sorry for going off topic. I just wanted to mention One Punch Man because I miss it.
No, that's fine. I think that's a wrap on Goblin.
Is that my cue to go One Punch?
I must be. YouTube recently spoiled something for me for One Punch Man because it keeps giving me YouTube videos to the manga.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry for spoiling this for everyone, but I find it funny that later on in the series, there's going to be a power scanner thing. I can't wait.
Is he going to be over 9,000?
Wait, so does it take place before Frieza comes to the planet?
I mean, to be fair, oh god, imagine if Frieza turned up with one he'd be dead. It'd be like
not if it's Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza's a tank. Just takes damage. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But yes, Goblin Slayer ratings. What should we rate it? Klaus, what would you give Goblin Slayer? M for mature?
Yes.
Arthur,
Well, that's what it is rated, but
Yeah.
and I like the fact that it's basically above everyone that I watch has said the scenes, the depictions here are not for everybody. Please watch, watch
Yeah,
with
I had a
care.
disclaimer in every episode. It was good.
As far as a numerical rating, though, I would probably give it about an 8.5. Like I said, it had a slow start for me, but it did build. It wasn't without its flaws, but like I said, overall, towards the end, the story really came together, had a lot of heart. There was a lot of character growth, and like I said, overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Nice, nice. Tim?
Yeah, I'd second the 8.5. And that goes for both the anime and the manga, because I consumed both. I was just crazy about it.
So you all caught up on the manga too?
Yep. It's all in the same place right now. But
Nice.
I would say I would recommend either, because both of them have their strengths. But I would disclaim that though the anime has its gratuity, it is far more subtle in comparison. Like, it's incredibly gratuitous in the manga. Like, it's very
I think
forward.
that's law-wise. I think that's legal reasons. I think they can show more in the manga than they can
Yeah.
the anime.
But just know that it's much more vulgar.
Yeah.
Manga.
Klaus is having to drop out. Go rest
Yeah,
well,
guys.
man.
Came into this with a headache. Unfortunately, it hasn't improved. So
Just go
unfortunately, I'm
shut
going to leave early.
Away from the world. That's what I do.
And I just want to thank you guys for having me on again. If you do want to follow me, you can catch me out at PHXDN_KLAUSS on Twitter. And like I said, if you are going to be in the Minneapolis area end of March, look into checking out Anime Detour. Great anime convention.
Also,
A lot of
how'd you
fun.
go to a concert?
Oh, Distant Worlds on March 1st. I'm also hosting a pre-concert meetup at Rock Bottom Brewery, which is also in downtown Minneapolis. So if you're going to be in the area and want to go see an amazing show and hang out with other Final Fantasy fans, I urge you to check that out as well.
Or
So
if you
thanks
can't
again for
get
having me,
tickets,
guys.
Go to the meeting, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Good beer, good friends, good fun. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.
No
Thanks for
problem.
coming, Klaus.
Take care.
Feel better, man.
Rest well.
Ben, what would you rate it?
Well, I was going to go with a 9, and then I had a flashback to that scene with the sword maiden at the bathtub area, and I might have to give it
10?
9.5. I mean, 10 if it was uncensored, but no, it was
Oh my
censored.
god.
So 9.5.
Read the manga.
Okay, I'll read the manga.
I will go with a 9 myself. I do feel like some parts can drag a little bit, but overall, I think there's a lot of context and subcontext in this show that really did it for me, and I was into it through and through. So yeah,
I can't believe
Ben.
how long we did this for.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep going though, Ben.
Yep. Dragon Ball
Let's-
Super Broly, the movie.
Well, before we get to the movie, you had some news.
Oh yeah, I've read
Yeah.
online that it's reached $100 million grossing worldwide, which is a crazy amount of money.
Yes. For an anime.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. If that doesn't tell them, we need more.
It's crazy. we need more
It
Dragon.
is.
Bring us more Dragon Ball.
Yes. Alrighty, Ben. You watched Brawly 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Uh,
We watched it like 4 days before you.
No, you watched it a week before me.
Yes, a week before you.
Yeah.
It's still very fresh in our minds, though. I'm
Oh.
sure Tim and I can still contribute to this as much as we can. But yes, you watched it. You haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Yes.
Tell us your thoughts on the legendary Super Saiyan.
Well, I want to start with I'm so happy they made the Bardock story of Dragon Ball Minus into the actual canon storyline, because I actually prefer Minus to the original Bardock story. As much as I didn't mind the Bardock story, because, you know, me Saiyan, me do well, me punch punch, and I can see the future. I like this retelling of Bardock. The fact that he doesn't have magic powers, but he just used the fact that he's a war veteran to realize, wait, Frieza wants all the people on the same planet at once. That's a little suspicious, especially when it comes to Frieza. So yeah, skipping the fact that we learned that King Cold actually owned the Frieza Force at one point when it was originally called the Cold Force, which I kind of like the name better.
Cold Force?
The Cold Force. Which means that Ginyu Force probably were run under King Cold originally.
Yeah, that's true.
We also know, if I'm right, that Jace is the only person to have seen Ginyu's original body. So...
Wait, we learned that in this movie?
No, he did a little interview before a movie.
So this body, the purple body, is not his original.
That's not his original body.
God damn it! We need an origin movie.
So it shows you how long he's had that body, though. If he had it when they took over the Saiyans. I also like Masako X's theory of the fact that the reason that King Cold was probably the one who actually gave the Saiyans the hierarchy. Oh god damn it, I can't say the word. Hierarchy that it has. Because if you notice,
the hierarchy.
Yeah, if you notice that King Vegeta's armor looks a lot like King Cold's.
Well, we know that they supplied them with the armors.
I wouldn't be surprised the fact that I like Masako X theory in the fact that King Cold probably saw how powerful the Saiyans could be and helped them up, and then he's just like picked one of them and said, "You're the new king, King Vegeta," and then of course each king is then called King Vegeta, because we know that from the movie that Prince Vegeta is Prince Vegeta the Fourth. So there's been 3 other King Vegetas before him.
Interesting.
So Vegeta is more of a title than it is his name. Even though it is his name, it's like a title as well, I guess. It's weird. And then I don't get why... Right, Paragus seemed to be a decent-ish rank in the army. Yet, for some reason, he wasn't allowed up at the top with all the elite babies. You'd have thought, because of how high rank he was, that his baby would also be in a decent-ish rank.
Well, I don't think it's the fact that he was a high rank power-wise. I think it's because he was a strategist.
I guess.
So, like, he himself wasn't... I think the way they judge babies is obviously by their power level. So...
But I'm just saying, King Vegeta was so pissed that he was up there when it's like, why is he up here with the lieutenants and the Grand Chancellor Nappas?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be, like a monarchy type of thing.
Yeah.
Where, the name holds more than who you are. Like, maybe the Paragus name isn't that good.
Maybe.
Low rank.
But anyway, we moved on from that. Basically, King Vegeta realized that Broly would be dangerous. But rather than executing him, he sent him off to a different planet to basically execute him. But after hearing this, Paragus chased after him to try and look after his baby boy with, I think it was Leek, wasn't it? I think
there was some random saying, I don't know. I do want to say, I did very much enjoy that Paragus looked like the old Paragus.
Yes.
In his younger age.
Yeah. And I also like the fact that we learned that not all Saiyans could blast planets or kill people. We learned that some Saiyans are just mechanics and just regular folk. Not all Saiyans were born to be like space invading pirates like Bojack's. But
I still think that goes to their power level.
Oh yeah, I think so. The weaker they are, the
above
more.
a certain, yeah, if it's above certain amount, then you're automatically warrior.
Yeah, I think so. But I like the fact that there is a difference, you know. And I also like the fact that we learned that some of them haven't even turned ape, as we learned from Leek, or whatever his name was, the other guy. But he never turned ape in his life. So, yeah. But yeah, and then he landed, and they got shocked that the baby had killed one of these spider ant things.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, how he could have done that? And then, by the way, Leek is like, but his power level is 910. That's more powerful than I am. By the way, I think the reason why they went over 900 was to make a reference to 9,000.
Yeah, probably.
It's like, his power level's over 900. Because they couldn't say 9,000.
At least in the
stupid.
English dub.
Yeah.
Mistranslation, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
His power level's over 8,000, Vegeta. Anyway, then the what was it next after that? They realised that he turned into a great ape because of the fact that there were stretch marks in his armour, and that explains how he was able to destroy the spiders, conveniently leaving their legs so he can eat their delicious leg juices.
Gross.
Well, that's what he seemed to eat the most, is their delicious
I know,
leg juices.
it just does not look appetizing at all.
I guess it's got more bone marrow. So, also, you'll find out later about the fact he's never touched water, and I'm like, how did he survive? Was it the nutritious baby
food and water at the same time?
Yeah, it's like generally animals, so they get all their moisture from their food, which is the only thing they have. So,
true.
In theory.
Guess it just feels weird. And then later on, we meet the rabbit pet worms. I like to think of them as rabbit pet worms. They were cute.
They were cute.
They were cute. Dangerous and cute. Also, you learned the backstory about his little robe thing around his waist, that it's actually a corpse of one of them, or the ear of one of them, that he used to train with and have as a friend, until Paragus is like, no, Broly, friends make you weak. You don't have friend. Only friend is Paragus and books. So basically he was Chi-Chi. Your only friend, Gohan, is books. You don't have Icarus. Icarus is not canon.
Whoa.
I kind of want a future timeline where Gohan now has the ear of Icarus around his waist.
Oh my god. That's messed up.
He's grown up for Chi-Chi. Old Chi-Chi with a beard. Chi-Chi, the worst mother. But also the best mother in a way. That was basically, and then we got the cool fight scene that I loved, with Goku and Vegeta training above the water with Head Chalala playing in the background, and that gave me chills. I loved that part. I really did. That was one of my best moments. Because I like it was just really well timed with the music. Because I like the Head Chala song, so.
Okay.
I wish that had been extended more. And, oh, by the way, about the Bardock stuff, I'm expecting the Bardock scene to be extended in the Blu-ray release.
I'll take it.
Because we saw Bardock perfectly fine before he sends Goku off, and then suddenly they cut to Frieza trying to blow up the planet, aka the original Bardock episode. And Bardock is now in completely damaged armor. And he don't see any damaged armor the entire time until then. So I really think there was a scene there where we saw like the original, like the original episode of Bardock.
Yeah.
So I feel that was cut.
Yeah, the scene just felt weird. Like you said, it shows him and then it shows him blasting the ball of energy.
Yeah, and he's in damaged armor with scars and cuts. I feel like we're gonna in the Blu-ray release, we'll get like I don't think it's gonna be long, maybe a couple of minutes, where he goes around and tries to warn people about what's happening, and then a couple of them believe him and they go off and they try and
Well,
hell, I don't even think that the damage that he's got was from the Freezer forces. I feel like some of the Saiyans won't believe him. Will believe him so little that they'll actually attack him for saying it.
I just hope there's more footage of Uncle Beerus and
Uncle Beerus and Baby Pan.
Or Bulla.
Uncle Beerus.
No, it was Bulla.
Oh yeah, Bulla. I want extended edition with Pan as well though.
Yes, and more Baby Raditz.
Baby Raditz with his smoker sounding voice.
Kid Raditz, baby.
Baby Raditz sounds like he's been smoking a load before he even became that age.
Hey, more Raditz, more entertainment.
Also, I find it funny that we got more references to Tarble than we did Gohan. That's one thing I disliked about the movie is that really none of the non-Saiyan characters, even the Saiyan characters, apart from Goku and Vegeta, really had any time to shine. Even Piccolo, who was in the movie, was just like, Goku's like, Piccolo, you're my checkpoint.
Well, let's face it, Piccolo already knows he doesn't stand a chance, so why go and get in the way?
Yeah, but imagine the laughs if Gotenks attacked Broly.
No, well,
I mean,
fucking Gotenks.
Yeah, because Broly's got such a simple mind because of the way he's been. I would have imagined that it could have been quite a funny scene with Gotenks using his like pranky moves and Broly getting confused.
And then Broly learning these moves.
Yeah, Broly using the Ghost Kamikaze.
But how? I don't get it.
I would have loved that. Just just to add a bit more humor because it was a very serious movie. Which was good. But
it was when the fighting started.
Yeah.
There was still some humor with Goku being, you know...
Goku. And also, I'm watching, I realised that Pilaf Gang was in one scene, and that made me happy.
Who was?
The Pilaf Gang. My Shu and...
Yes, they should always be in everything.
Yeah. So that was cool. Also... have you watched the Son Goku special with Tarble?
I have not, no.
The two main villains, which say that their power was equal to Frieza in his first form, they actually appear in the movie in the background.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're on the when you see Frieza for the first time. There's some of the troops in the group. So yeah,
nice.
Because I don't think they get killed; they get away, if I'm rightly. Because it was like a jokey episode. Basically, they attack Tarble's homeworld, and Tarble runs away and asks Vegeta for help for beating him. And they're like, but we're the. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about now. They're in Dokkan Battle.
Yeah, they're like
in the Tarble event. You fight them.
Yeah, like, we're equal to first form Frieza, and they all just burst out laughing. And then they go out. Basically, Goku has become a radish farmer. A radish farmer.
Yes, farm. I need to farm radits.
Well, he becomes a radish farmer, and they're like, they have to go pick whichever gets the biggest radish wins and has to fight them, and Gotenks gets the biggest one.
Yes.
So that was the Son Goku special in a nutshell, right there. It was a good episode. Basically, Hercule was holding basically it started because Hercule was holding like a hotel, he was opening a new hotel, and this all happens. So, poor Hercule getting screwed over again.
Always. Savior of the universe.
Savior of the universe.
Well, please continue with Broly.
So later, basically, it goes into fighting after that with Goku and Vegeta taking their turns to fight Broly. I'm actually happy that they gave Vegeta a good showing against Broly. I was worried that he'd get completely shafted, but no, he really did kick some ass.
Excuse me. Yeah, I was all for that too.
Yeah.
Finally, Vegeta gets the spotlight a little bit.
And Super Saiyan God Vegeta is sex.
Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Yeah, finally canon.
It's finally canon.
In the anime, at least.
Yeah, because in the manga, he was actually the first one to use the form against in the Tournament of Power. No, not Tournament of Power. Universe 6 tournament. I think it was.
Ah, okay.
He realised that Super Saiyan God was actually a little bit faster than Blue. So he would switch between Blue and God to trick the opponent.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, they realised that Broly was actually getting stronger as they were fighting him and learning really fast. Just like Saiyans do, really, but faster than normal.
Yeah, he was adapting really quick.
Yeah. So they eventually decided that they had to team up. That's the only way to beat, which was a shock because you know how much Vegeta hates teaming up. Which was why it was even a shocker that Vegeta was pretty much the first one to suggest teaming up. Because he flew in with Goku. I know it was just because he wanted to fight, probably, but still. It's not like Vegeta to be like, oh, let's team up, Kakarot, and fight the Broly.
I guess it's one of those things that, once again, it kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Where one guy is fighting and the other one is totally off screen doing nothing. It's like, why? Just jump in there and do stuff, man.
Yeah, but that's their character.
Clearly, he's getting his ass kicked when Broly's just like Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movie to Loki over there. On Goku,
which, by the way, is funny as well because when he smashes him in the ground, like he did, Hulk did Loki, he was in God form.
Yeah.
So it was just an Avengers. You know, it's like puny Saiyan God.
Yeah. Just jump in and help out, man.
But then they fuse, and then you got the joke fusions, the old Gogeta and the fat Gogeta. I like them in a way, but I didn't like them. I don't know. I wish they'd done that as a Blu-ray extra. It just felt like padding.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where we talked about it, and I felt like they kind of like that's one particular moment just showed us that Frieza lasted longer against Broly than the two of them.
Yeah,
combined, because they lasted for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
who knows how long their fight was? But
no, Golden Frieza only lasted an hour because they only took
an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
No, an hour because half an hour.
Yeah, just an hour.
Yeah,
an hour. Okay, my bad. Oh man, I'm sorry. Jeez, calm down. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh shit. What?
Jumping in, screaming at me and shit too.
Just like the movie.
Ah!
No, Tim, come back.
Nope, I suck. Don't worry about it.
Well, okay. So, Ben.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Frieza in this movie. What was your opinion of Frieza?
I wish you'd done more. I like the reference though with Bulma's joke. I like the fact that there was so many small Easter eggs that ended up being Easter eggs that you didn't know about. Well, not Easter eggs, but continuation. Like Bulma's like, I want to be 5 years younger. And they're like, why? Why only 5? You could be around 10. And she's like, oh, but everyone will notice it then. And then later on, Frieza's like, but I want to be 5 centimeters taller. And they're like, but why only 5 centimeters? Because I want people to think I'm still growing, otherwise it'll be noticeable. I liked bits like that happened where unless you were paying attention, you wouldn't notice the fact that that parallel each other. The only one bit that you're gonna hate me, but my favourite part with Frieza has to be Paragus. Major spoilers here, but
the Academy Award-winning Frieza.
Oh no! A stray energy blast has hit your father! Oh! No, he's dead! Ah! I love that. I really
No, I
did.
enjoyed the moment. I just didn't enjoy how Broly reacted to it.
I like the fact that Frieza knew he'd react like that, though. Frieza's like, wait there. Remember when Goku saw Krillin die? I wonder what happens if Paragus dies. Boop.
Yeah, and
Fatality.
again, it to me just felt like a rushed moment for Broly.
Yeah.
Where he sees it, he just like shakes his head and
Yeah.
transforms.
Yeah.
They could have put more emotion behind it, like do a little flashback of,
Oh yeah,
their
I feel
time
like that was cut though. I feel like that again that'll be an extent. I feel like there's some scenes that were really cut. Remember, this movie was intended to be 3 hours long. The original script was just over 3 hours.
I would have taken 3 hours, man.
Yeah, so I can't imagine all the little bits like that were cut.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is guesses. I don't know what the exact script was.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we saw Broly go to legendary form, and then we saw Goku and Vegeta fuse, and as I said before, we got the joke forms, and then we got Sex Gita, or Vukuto,
Okay.
or whatever it was.
So Ben,
Yeah,
talk to me about Gogeta for a little bit here.
I liked it.
felt-
Too soon. It's too soon, dude. He's sensitive about Gogeta.
Yeah, I'm sensitive.
No, listen.
You touched
To
my Gogeta.
me personally, goddamn. After watching the movie, I still believe it was an absolute mistake to reveal Gogeta.
Oh, they should have revealed him at all. That should have been I revealed it myself before they revealed it, but
Well, even if there were leaks about the character, that's fine. Let people think
Well,
there's
no,
a leak
I-
and he
I
might just be a made up character like freaking
yeah. No, I knew it. I
the other
knew.
one.
No, I didn't need the leak to know. I really.
Yeah,
did.
you called it a long time ago because of all the promotions with the Fusion Reborn movie.
Yeah, I was like, shit. There's Fusion Reborn. Either Janemba's going to appear, or yeah, I didn't need no fucking leaker. I am the leaker, but not really. People
Yeah.
don't see me.
But
Oh, oh boy.
I felt like it was just such a big mistake.
The only thing
reveal-
I really liked was, you remember that Brody has that weird dimension thing where, like, he flashes the dimensions when he powers up.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they broke through different dimensions because of how powerful they both were. That's when they're in
I have some continuity issues with that, but
why? It makes sense actually, to be honest.
well, it does. But when Goku and Beerus did it in Battle of the Gods, Whis had to stop them immediately because they're destroying the universe. But here it's okay.
True.
Well, they
Whis
weren't
didn't
in
stop
the
them
universe
right away.
anymore. They were already in.
Yeah,
the
they
other
broke into a different universe, so it's fine.
Oh, come on.
one. I'd
They
see it
still
like when
broke
Boo yelled that
Yeah.
dimension into existence while in the chime chamber.
Yeah, as I said, they've already done it before when Gotenks jumped into it.
I can like mentally.
Yeah. So I can understand. I kind of like that, and I love it reminded me of like some weird Doctor Strange moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I felt like even though it didn't happen
yeah,
in one shot, I still think Gogeta beat Broly in a shot. Even though it wasn't just a one hit, Broly didn't stand a chance.
no, Broly didn't. And to be fair, Gogeta was the villain. You know, Broly really was an innocent man. All in all, really. I know he killed people and stuff, but compared to the fact that Gogeta was just going to finish him off with no mercy when he was weakened.
That's true. But see, again, doesn't make sense. He wants to kill Broly, but he spares Frieza again.
I
And
feel
That's
like
history with Frieza, though.
I don't
What?
know. To be fair, I don't think that's. Remember, Goku wanted to spare Broly because even when he froze him, he said, "I don't sense any evil in you. I sense that you're a good person that doesn't want to fight."
No, I know, but like you're saying, he was just gonna finish him off.
Yeah,
But yet, they saved Frieza again and let him go.
yeah. I by the way, I love Frieza's face during that as well. They're like, "Who are you?" It's like, "I am Goku and Vegeta fused. You didn't notice because you were dead." He's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, more bullshit."
It's true. More bullshit. But yeah, that was my biggest problem with Frieza in general in this movie. Is the fact that in the beginning of the movie, when we first see Goku and Frieza, and we know Frieza's collecting the Dragon Balls, they literally talk about how, like, Vegeta straight up tells him that we have to kill Frieza. You let him live, and who knows what he's going to do with the Dragon Ball. But yet, again, at the end of the movie, they let him go, and we see the scene where Frieza is just destroying random worlds and universes.
Yeah.
And all those deaths are on their heads. They have to be on their heads.
Yeah.
Because they, again, let him live. And it just bothered me, because in the beginning you said you had to do it, and then you had the chance and you let him go for no reason.
Yeah.
Even though he just brought this psychopath Saiyan to kill you.
Yeah. Let's let him live. You might unlock
really
Platinum
just
Frieza.
bothered me.
Frieza Blue. Sapphire Frieza.
Frieza has to get a new form, because his power level of all the power levels is the most inconsistent, in my opinion, at this point. Because Golden Frieza was more powerful than Blue when he first appeared, but yet he's weaker than God in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
And then he unlocked True Golden Frieza, remember, which is more powerful than Golden Frieza.
Yeah, because he learned to finally control the power. So, his power level is just so obscure at this point that...
I wish they'd gone with the original
What's the point of Gold?
I wish they'd gone with the original leaked version of the fact, by the way, of the wish of the fact that he wanted to be taller like his brother Cooler.
I take it so hard, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of issue with that wish, but I feel like that he told them that was going to be his wish. I feel like it was just a dodge. Like he was lying to them.
No, I feel like
that's
that was
what
his
I was
wish.
hoping for too.
No, I really do feel like that was his wish. I really do. I feel like
his reasoning. I felt like his reasoning for not wanting immortality, just didn't make any sense at all.
No, I could understand why he didn't want an invincible body. That made sense. But immortality, I don't know. That's why I know this sounds weird, but I feel like a Saiyan that wishes for immortality would actually be weaker. I actually think a Saiyan that wished for immortality will actually stagnate in power. Because the Saiyan gets so much stronger because of the Zenkai boosts because they're near death. If they can never get near death because they're immortal, I feel like they would lose that Zenkai boost.
Well, no. Zamasu dies. He dies and comes right back. It's like instantaneous. Like quick. Like not even a second.
You're talking about...
Because during the Zamasu fight, Zamasu got stronger during the fights too.
No, Goku Black got stronger, but Goku Black does have an immortal body.
But no, Zamasu did too, because before he got his ass kicked by Vegeta or Goku, even Trunks.
Yeah.
But then later into the series, we can see him gaining the upper hand on them a little bit.
Yeah. That's only because he got used to fighting them, I feel like, more than actually getting stronger.
Yeah, immortality just stops you from dying. That doesn't stop you from being near death. So
yeah, but
I still think
doesn't have a Saiyan Sankei boost thing either, does he? He's not a Saiyan.
No, he doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it puts you can be near death, you just won't die. So I still think it'll work for Saiyan.
Anyway.
But yeah, no. What about the ending for you, Ben?
You mean
how did you feel about having an invincible trump card that you can call on maybe in the future?
Well, he's not. Well, as long as he gets his train properly, then yeah, he's an invincible. But they've already got an. Remember the Zeno button?
Yeah.
Now they've got two now.
Well, you can't call Zeno to fix your problem. The problem with Zeno is he can destroy you at the same time if he wants.
But so will Broly.
If he can't control it.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. Like, if he wants to control it, he's just going to be KO.
Yeah, he
and
is.
he's going to be weaker. and he's going to be weaker. Like, Kale was way more powerful when she couldn't control it. But yeah, do you think that they'll start to implement Brawly more if there is a continuation of the series?
He'll be a main character in the story.
Do you think he'll be as popular, though? Like, do you feel like his popularity is going to dwindle if he's just a regular character all the time?
No.
No. But I don't think they're going to use him that much. They're going to use him for certain arcs. Like, you know how Future Trunks is one of the more popular... I vomited a bit when I said that. How Future Trunks is one of the more popular characters just because of the fact that he's not used that much, really. He was used for the Trunks, the Android Saga, and then he disappeared. And then he was back for the Future Zamasu arc. Trunks was a really popular character. I feel like Broly would be brought, like, for, like, big hype moments, like, in some sort of future arc. Okay,
so then where do you see his character progressing if they keep him around?
I feel like he's going to become just like it's just going to be like Goku, but more gentle. I feel like he's going to be even more... I think he's going to be Android 16. He's going to like birds.
He's going to like a bird.
No, I feel like he's going to be reluctant to fight anything.
But when he has to fight, because he's going to have to.
Oh yeah, he's going to have to fight.
I'm just wondering, like, he's going to have to get trained to control that power.
Yeah, which Goku will do.
By the way,
how scary was that scene, really, in a way? They're like, but what if we change planets? Goku's like, I can see anywhere you go. I can see you when you sleep.
But he doesn't know where the Namekian.
Goku knows where they are.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does. Goku knows where the Namekians are. He put them there.
No, he doesn't.
He's the only person in the universe that knows where they are. Not even North Kai knows where they are. He knows where they are. That's why.
How does he know, man?
I don't know, but that's why, in the manga.
Well, they had to tell you if you knew this.
It's in the manga.
Oh.
He's like, oh, it looks like what was it? What's that new guy? Moro. He said, oh, it looks like Moro's North Kai's like, oh, it looks like Moro's going to that dead space of a galaxy. And Goku goes, oh, that's where the Namekians are. And North Kai looks confused.
How does he know that? Nobody. All they know is they asked for the dragon to find a planet and send them to a planet that's identical to planet Namek. Yeah. And that's where they went. That was literally the last week. Only Dende knows where they are, because Dende was able to communicate with them at the end of the Buu Saga.
And Goku knows as well.
Wow, that's just...
Goku...
Well, that's a manga. In the anime, I had no idea.
Yeah, which I find funny that Goku knows, but the Kai of that... the Kai doesn't.
That's because the Kai is useless.
Hey, North Kai taught him Kaioken and Spirit Bomb.
Well, North Kai doesn't exist. So
North Kai does. King Kai.
Well, okay, King Kai. I'm talking about the other Kais.
Yeah, the other Kais don't exist.
So technically it's just King Kai.
Yeah, it's just King Kai.
King Kai is dead. All he wants to do is come back to life.
Yeah, give him his damn wish. It's like, the manga pisses me off even more. It's like, Goku, you know where the Namekians are. Just warp to them and use their Dragon Balls to wish him back to life.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see. I hope they keep Brawly away for a bit. I don't want him to be like a series regular.
Yeah, I want it, if he's come back, I hope he comes back for like, maybe in the second arc.
It would have to be an arc that requires them to really need his power.
Like the Tournament of Power.
Right.
If
Gogeta, not good enough to save the universe, but important enough to save Earth. God damn it.
UI Goku is supposedly stronger than Gogeta.
UI Goku?
Yeah.
Well, I would assume so. Yeah.
So imagine what UI Gogeta would be.
I wouldn't say stronger. I would say he's better at dodging shit.
Yeah. I would say UI Goku would be able to beat Gogeta.
I just want, I think Broly should get trained by KO. I just want to see them fight.
No, Broly should get trained by Jiren.
Then he'd just be the same as he is, even.
Yeah. I also want a spin-off where we see Gohan go and do like a special episode. This is my dream. I want like a Gohan. I hate saying that because I don't like Gohan that much, but I want a Gohan specific episode where he goes over to Universe 11, or I think it's Universe 11, isn't it? And they have a crossover with Great Saiyan Man and Great Saiyan Woman and the Pride Troopers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I want an episode dedicated to Gohan where just monologue is felt.
Just have an episode of Gohan. Just an episode of Gohan doing one of his lectures.
Oh my god! And he's just talking about how much of a failure he is.
Yeah. No, to be fair, in some ways I hope they bring in the... I don't know if you've known much of the Dragon Ball Online storyline.
No.
Well, I actually want their canons. I want the way that Goku and Vegeta die to be canon from Dragon Ball Online. If I'm honest, that would be my way of killing off both characters. For anyone that doesn't know, Dragon Ball Online was a slightly successful MMO in Japan. You can actually download it online now because people have actually made fan translations with unofficial servers. So you can actually play most of it in English. But what they do is they have Gohan be... after Goku and Vegeta die, Gohan actually starts writing books on ki control to teach people how to use ki.
Nice.
He becomes a successful author of like teaching people how all the different ways of ki and writing stories about Goku and Vegeta.
There you go.
But the way
Better than what he's doing now.
Yeah, but the way Goku and Vegeta die is how I kind of want him to die. I know that sounds gruesome, but I kind of want them to die like this in the show. You know how Goku and Vegeta have that rivalry that they never, settled because they never got to finish it. Yeah, just as they reach the age where they're going to go from, like... Because remember, Saiyans age really fast once they reach maturity. They're like in their young age for the longest time, and then once they reach a certain age, they just sort of... like it's like a switch that flips, and they become old.
Okay.
When they realise they're about to reach old age, both Goku and Vegeta go to a different galaxy and just fight each other until they die.
That's sad, Ben. They don't even die with their loved ones. That's horrible.
Yeah, but they die how they would love to fight. You know what I mean? That's...
They're doing what they love.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I would like that. What about you, Tim? Would you like that?
It would be fitting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And since they both really like fighting,
yeah,
I feel like that would be... I see it kind of like the end of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
Where they're both like just shoving senzu beans in each other's mouths that they beat the shit.
But yeah, it's like the reason why they go to different galaxies is that they're fighting so much they're actually blowing up the planets as they're fighting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's a new arc going on in the manga right now, and we find out how Goku and Vegeta lose their god powers.
Well, we don't know if they lose them yet.
I'm pretty sure they're going to lose them. Oh, they will. Yeah. They will.
I feel like
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because now would be a good time to bring in Broly, who doesn't have god power. Oh, maybe Broly's going to teach him to become Zerg. That'll be.
Well, no, Broly will go Super Saiyan 4.
And they don't need god power to go Gogeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gogeta Blue is way different than.
Plus, see, look, Moro isn't physically powerful. We've seen that in the manga already. He's really weak physically.
Who?
So, the bad guy.
Yeah, but he also eats god power, so...
Yeah. Well, no, he eats life energy.
And god powers. They've confirmed it.
Yeah. So...
That's how they're assuming he's gonna lose... They're gonna lose their god powers.
Yeah, but I feel like they'll get it back once they beat him. Because they're gonna get Boo to help, so...
Well, this is also why Beerus can't help them.
Yeah.
at all either. So, does he just eat beers then, like body and everything? Num num num.
Yeah, I guess.
I just want King Kai back. King Kai is grossly missing in Super.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he
that's
deserves
because
to
of the
be-
voice actor getting. Didn't the voice actor passed away?
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
mean, the English voice actor is kind of healthy.
Yeah, but it's made in Japan first, so
Oh, so America just doesn't matter.
well,
I
it's
mean,
kind
I
of
guess.
yeah. It's the
Was, it,
reason
was
why,
GT
like,
made by America?
yeah, GT was made by American.
Oh my god!
This is what we get for making.
Yeah,
Ignore everything I said.
so. But
Well, Bulma's voice actor died, and she's still around.
yeah, but
Just
they
saying.
they
She's
replaced.
also
Yeah,
pivotal, basically.
yeah, she's part of
King
that.
Kai is not pivotal.
Not compared to Bulma.
Oh my god! What did
He's more
Bulma
like
do?
a
in
Deus
the
Ex
manga?
Machina.
Bulma made the Dragon Ball radar. There we go.
Okay, nobody else had to use that. You just push a button and it turns on.
Yeah, but she made it. Before that, there wasn't even such a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Hell, without it, would technically Goku would still be in the forest area living off fish. So, anyway, let's wrap it up here.
I don't want to. I want to keep going.
Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. I want to give it a 9 out of 10. I loved the animations. I loved certain fights. I loved the music, but I was sad that Blizzard wasn't in it. You know, the trailer music that a lot of people hated, but I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But it got replaced by songs of them saying the character's name.
Go Gogeta, Go, which kind of, it was kind of like a wrestling thing, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so bad. The worst thing is, like, the song and the beat actually sounds good, but when you put
Yeah.
the vocal in it, it completely kills it.
Yeah.
Broly, 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 Broly. Also, at least Broly confirmed Super Saiyan 4
How does Broly confirm Super Saiyan 4?
because Broly is
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 4.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He is literally everything that Super Saiyan 4 is.
He's a legendary
He-
Super Saiyan.
He controls the power
Yeah.
of
Osaru, Super Saiyan 4 is a Saiyan with the Osaru powers in human form. Wrathful Broly is an Osaru, Saiyan in an Osaru form. That is Super Saiyan 4. And he even gets the same
Super
colour
Saiyan.
eyes as Super Saiyan 4. His eyes go like yellow.
That's dreadful. Please don't ever say that again.
Well, I like the fact that they've reimagined Super Saiyan 4, and I feel like that's what's gonna make Broly different. Yeah, Broly's gonna go a different path than the Goku and Vegeta because I don't think he's gonna get God forms. I feel like he's gonna master Super Saiyan 4 or whatever they're gonna call it, Wrathful Saiyan, and then
Well,
Berserk form is gonna be like his blue.
Vegeta already confirmed that Kale's Berserker form is the final form of a Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
How he knew that, I have no idea.
because
But then in the movie, he's like, "We've never fought this type of power before." It's like, you kind of did, like a month ago.
Yeah.
Against Kale.
Anyway, I'm gonna end it here.
The little things. It's the little things, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it here.
Okay.
Gary, got
Yes.
any shout-outs?
I am the host. I have shout outs, yes. Shout out to you guys, of course, as always, because you're my boys. Fonzie, I miss you very much. I hope you join us soon, because your opinion on Brawley still matters, while the movie still matters. Klaus, I hope you're feeling better, man. Thanks for joining us for half of the show. Chris, always miss you. Hope to have you back soon. And that's it. You can reach me anywhere at Gaglaus. That's Gaglaus.
Tim.
Oh, we miss you, Fonzie, a lot. Gary cries a lot.
I do. I'm a little bitch.
No, he's just very sensitive, and I respect him for it. We just miss you.
That's literally what I just said.
We miss you, Fonzie. Oh my God, Gary. Those are
I
not
just I just used one word instead of five.
Now you're being a bitch. Now you're being...
That's so rude.
Listeners, you're just the best. Like, literally the very best. Oh, man. Like, better than everybody else. Yep.
References.
Pokemons. We're all Pokemon masters here. Thank you for all that. And you can find me anywhere, basically, with Timberelli. Timberelli. Or Boss Snake on PlayStation.
Okay. You can find
Benji.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can find
ahead,
me
man.
at MGR_Chili. I want to shout out to Alfonso. We miss you, mate. I hope you're doing well. Remember that SeaCon is in September in Milton Keynes. You can still get your Ultra VIP tickets for £77. So if you live in England and you like Dragon Ball, then go check that out. Also, go check out Camicon, which, that's £177, and I can't remember it. That's in October, if I'm rightly, but SeaCon looks cooler. Go check out SeaCon. I'll leave links to the description to both Camicon and SeaCon. Also, I've got some Crunchyroll guest passes that I'll be dropping down. This will give you several hours of free access to Crunchyroll Premium. So you can enjoy the premium stuff, like the current Symbiote stuff. So if you're a fan of Boruto and you want to watch it not long after it comes out in Japan, you can with Premium. So I will leave a couple of premium codes in the description of this podcast. So go check out psu.podbean.com.
And you can watch Goblin Slayer ad-free as well.
Yeah.
Bam.
Ooh. All of the good things. Even though we just spoiled all the Goblin Slayer.
Hey, you listened at your own accord.
So, until next week, I am Chili. And Gary should be ending this because he's the host, so...
Yes, I'm Gary, and if Ben doesn't see you, then he'll see you through the window.
Good
I totally ruined that.
If I don't see you
Go
for the
ahead,
week,
man.
I'll see you through the window.
There you go.